What's up guys, this is my CI dual curse flicker striker. In this video I wanna explain the gem itself, flicker strike, and then go through the gem links, the gear you need to make this build possible, some gear recommendations, and yeah, if you wanna know more about this build, you can also check out my build thread, which is linked in the description. So let's start off with Flicker Strike itself. Flicker Strike is teleporting your character to a nearby enemy and attacks it with a melee weapon. It then gets a cooldown which can be bypassed, consuming a frenzy charge. I've linked Flicker Strike with melee damage on full life, melee physical damage, melee splash, multi-strike and fist to lightning. So if you only have 5 link, you can drop one of those physical damage gems. And the reason why we are using physical to lightning is it prevents us from getting one shot on fist reflect mobs, and we need a certain amount of lightning damage to proc Herald of Thunder, which is our curse setup. I've linked Herald of Thunder, with curse on hit obviously, Assassin's Mark and Poacher's Mark. So Assassin's Mark is giving us power charges, which increases the crit chance, and Poacher's Mark is giving us a 40% chance to get frenzy charges on enemies killed. I'm also using Blood Rage to get 25% additional chance to get frenzy charges on kill. And to make double curse work, you need to have this ring here, Dangerous Damning Ring. Without it, you can only use one curse, and you want both of them charges on this build to get crit capped and to get frenzy charges. Yeah. So, and the helmet, I'm also using the Hatred and Discipline gems linked with Enlighten in it. And the reason why I've chosen the Vertex helmet is basically for 2 reasons. One is +1 to socket gems, and the second reason, it has a lot of evasion and energy shield rating. And those 2 things for 1 exalt, and this is pretty much hard to beat. Yeah, in the shield I'm using 2 Val Disciplines linked with increased duration, and those 2 will help us out in sketchy situations, boss kills, exiles, strong boxes, anywhere where you pretty much wish to be able to pot energy shield. Yeah, that's about it there. So as gloves, we are crit build, so you obviously want to use Manigaros. You don't have to use legacy ones. I've linked there my movement skill Whirling Blades with fast attacks and fortify and frenzy. So frenzy is also using those 2 support gems, so I have basically 2 free links in a 4 link, and frenzy is only there for emergency. So if you run out of frenzy charges somehow and you need to get them back quickly, you can hit them up 2 times or 3 times and then start to flicker again. As a weapon, you obviously want a high DPS, high crit chance weapon, like this Loaf Bane here, or other mirrored or mirror-worthy daggers. You can also use a Loaf Bane, not Loaf Bane, you can also use a Beano's Kitchen Knife, which is fairly cheap, and I've played with it until level 95, so it's possible. I would recommend a different passive tree, which is also linked in the build thread. Here I have my cast on damage taken linked with Tempest Shield to give us the 3% additional block chance, and summon Ice Golem. The Ice Golem is pretty much there because I'm too lazy to cast it all the time, and I'm only needing it to get the increased crit chance and additional accuracy rating. As for jewelry and belt, the amulet is the 2nd highest slot for DPS, so you want flat fizz, crit multi, maybe accuracy rating if you need. Life leech is also nice to have, and maximum energy shield. As a belt, you obviously you use or pick a rustic sash with weapon elemental damage, which works really well with Fist to Lightning, a huge amount of strength. This will save you up to 230 strength node in the passive tree. Flat energy shield, of course, and resists to be kept. Same goes to my rare ring. There you can have increased weapon elemental damage too. Accuracy rating is really nice to have. The attack speed isn't that must-have in this case. And then of course resists and flat and percentage energy shield. As for flasks, I'm using a Surgeon's Granite Flask of Heat. Since we have no unique or nothing that will prevent us from getting frozen, and we don't want to get frozen, especially as a flicker. We always want to be in motion on the move. And then we have our first unique flask, the Rumi's Concussion. This is not a fully block chance build, but this will save us and make us a lot tankier. It also works pretty well with Rainbow Strides, which applies a certain amount of block chance to spells. And since we are here at the boots, the reason I've chosen Rainbow Strides is also it's easy to get +1 maximum frenzy charges on Rainbow Strides, or I mean it's easier to find them on PoE Trade than finding some rare ES boots with the resists you need and movement speed and so on. The third flask is an Aether's Promise flask, which is increasing our DPS and life leech. And the fourth flask is this badly rolled mana flask. The reason why I'm having a mana flask is if I'm abusing Whirling Blades too much, I will have to pot it since I don't have a lot of mana regen. And yeah, that's about it. And yeah, with the remove bleeding roll on it, you don't want to have CB on any character. And our last flask is Taste of Fate, which is also boosting our DPS, but it's like a mini lightning call, as many mentioned. Yeah, and that's about it. For Flask Usage, I'm using one of those two flasks at the beginning to get a little DPS boost, so that I guarantee the kills of the first mobs, and those will then again proc our Herald of Thunder and will help us to get the charges. And once those charges are up, you will barely need to use those flasks to kill trash mobs. You basically only need them if you find like a strong blue pack or a rare or an exile or a boss. Other than that, I'm only using those flasks as a defense, in a defense wise. As for leveling, I would not recommend to use Flicker Strike right at the beginning. What you can use though is a Lightning Strike or a Reef. I'm also playing with Reef when I get a bit bored with this character, so you can replace Reef obviously with Flicker Strike, and then since Melee Splash doesn't do anything to it, I'm replacing it with Life Leech, so you don't have to recolor the 6-link. And why Life Leech? Because you don't have to use Blood Rage then, and yeah, Blood Rage is always, stressing you out, so it's really nice to not have that degen on it. And since this is not a fully built Reef character, the AoE of Reef itself is a bit poor, so I replace Frenzy with Val Reef. So once Val Reef is up, you can keep the increased area of effect of it with the normal Reef up until the Val Reef is ready again to be used. Yeah, that's about it gear-wise and gem-wise, so let's take a look at the passive tree. There's not really much to tell you about the passive tree except 2 to 3 things. One is we are using 2 energy from within joules. Those are converting the life nodes around it into energy shield. So with this node we have a really nice ES pool there, and the next energy from within joule is here, which is converting nullification life into energy shield and blood drink into energy shield. The next thing I can mention is if you have like a slow attack based weapon and it feels a bit too slow, then you can respec Force Shaper and use flying, since this is giving us much more attack speed per node. This is like, yeah, there's actually no attack speed on it. And the reason why I'm using Force Shaper is we gain, I think, around 70 to 80% chaos damage on the passive tree, but I have nothing to make use of it. So Force Shaper is giving us 5% physical damage as extra chaos damage, which isn't much, but it's better than nothing, right? And also, as a Flicker Strike build, you want more damage per hit than per second to guarantee the kills again, to guarantee generating frenzy charges. As for the other rare jewels, you want physical damage on it, increased energy shield on it, resists and strength and other stats that you need, and or like this jewel here, like purely DPS. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I will also upload more in-action videos of this character.